Hello my dear students, welcome to the English YouTuber, and in today's video we're going to discuss all the possible questions from a beautiful poem called The Trees, which is written by Adrienne Rich. So let's begin. The first question: the trees inside are moving towards the dash. A city, B forest, C countryside, or D riverbank? And the answer is yes, B forest. Next, what were the inconveniences to nature because there were no trees in the forest? There were no places for the birds to perch on because there were no trees. No place for insects to hide, and the sun could not cast shadows because the forest was empty all these days. Or they could ask you the question, what were the inconveniences to the birds, insects, and the sun? So it is the same answer. Moving quickly to the next question. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. What do these lines symbolize? So the trees symbolize freedom, human resilience, growth, and liberation from confinement. So the trees were in confinement in the four corners, and now they are going out into the forest, which means they are having freedom, growth, and liberation from confinement. So the trees reclaiming their natural habitat portrays women moving out of the four corners of the house after healing themselves. So the trees are metaphor for women who were in confinement and now they are moving out. Which figure of speech is used in the following lines? No sun bury its feet in shadow. Is it A, personification, B, metaphor, C, anaphora, or D, alliteration? It is A, personification, because a non-living thing is now considered like a living thing or a person. So here it is said that the sun is burying its feet. So the sun is personified here. Next, what are the roots doing all night? A, taking in nourishment from the soil. B, fixing itself deep into the ground. C, moving into the forest. Or D, disengaging themselves from cracks. So the answer is D, disengaging themselves from cracks. So the roots are disengaging themselves from the cracks. Next, what does the effort of the roots signify? The entire night, the roots go through the relentless effort to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor, which signifies that women have been fixed in the four corners of the house and they must put significant effort to break free. That is why entire night the root is trying to disengage itself from the cracks in the veranda floor. What are the trees trying to do? What are their roots, twigs, and leaves trying to do? So we already discussed the roots, but in this answer, first we are going to go through that and then talk about the twigs and the leaves. The trees are inside the house and they are trying to escape into the forest. The roots work all night to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves strain themselves towards the glass. The small twigs have been stiff due to exertion, and the boughs that were cramped for a long time were shuffling under the roof. So, this is about the roots, twigs, leaves, and the bough. This is again important question. What were the boughs that were shuffling under the roof compared to? They were compared to newly discharged patients who are half dazed, who are fragile. Fragile means they can easily be broken, not fully recovered, and moving slowly towards the clinic doors. So the bows are compared to newly discharged patients. What does the word shuffling mean? Shuffling means dragging one's foot without fully lifting the foot from the ground. That is shuffling. So here the bows are shuffling under the roof. All these days the forest was A. hidden, B. full of trees, C. empty, or D. noisy. Yes, it is C. empty. We know that the forest was empty all these days and now finally the trees are going towards the forest. What is the poet sitting inside the house and doing? The poet is sitting inside the house. The doors are open to the veranda and she is writing long letters. What does she not mention in her letters? A. The forest filling with trees. C. The birds crying for rain and shelter. C. The leaves straining towards the glass. Or D. Departure of the forest from the house. So what does she not mention in her letters? D. Departure of the forest from the house. Why does she not mention the departure of the trees? So despite it being a significant event, she does not mention the departure of the trees in the long letters because she does not want anyone to know that the trees in confinement are rebelling and fighting their way out for freedom. She wants the trees to be liberated and move to the place where they truly belong. This is why she does not mention the departure of the trees. Why does the poet say the sky still open? The sky signifies vastness, openness, and freedom. It signifies a vast area that is not confined. So the sky is open. It signifies vastness, freedom. The smell of dash and dash reaches the rooms. Is it A. flowers and lichens, B. leaves and lichens, C. rain and fallen leaves, or D. flowers and forest fires? The answer is B. leaves and lichens. Next, the smell reaching is compared to what? The reaching is compared to a voice that reaches into the rooms. It is compared to a voice. What lesson of nature does the poem teaches us? Again, important. The poem teaches us an important lesson that presence of few trees inside our house does not equate to nature. What are we humans doing? We humans have destroyed nature by cutting down trees and growing few plants inside our house. But the plants are yearning to go out into their true habitat, where we help shelter birds and insects and form an integral part of nature. So we humans are very selfish and we are cutting down nature and we are taking plants into our house. But these plants and trees are yearning to go into their natural habitat, which is outside, so that the birds, insects, and other important parts of nature can enjoy the trees. What is the correlation between trees and women? Again, an important question. Both trees and women are inextricably linked, where both are oppressed and exploited. Therefore, it shows that both trees and women should be free, not confined inside the house, and they should be treated with respect. Next, my head is full of whisper, which tomorrow will be silent. What does this mean? The poet has a lot of internal thoughts going on in her head because she knows that the trees are moving out and breaking free. But once the success of the moment is achieved, then her mind will be silent because they will be liberated. That is why her head is full of whisper today and tomorrow it will be silent. What is the poet asking us to listen to and what does it symbolize? So the poet is asking us to listen to the glass breaking. The breaking of the glass signifies the final shattering of the barrier and the trees stumbling forward to move into the open night. So it's symbolizing freedom here. Who does the wind rush to meet? The wind is rushing to meet the trees to embrace and greet them. The moon is broken like A mirror, B toy, C branch or D heart. It is A mirror. What does the broken moon signify? The moon is obscured and only fragmented pieces of lights are visible through the branches of the oak trees. So I have elaborated this answer in another question. So that time we will discuss that in detail. Where does the pieces of moon reflection be seen? The pieces flash in the crown of the tallest oak tree. Why does the sun not cast any shadows? A, because it is a cloudy day. B, because there are no trees. C, because the trees are short. Or D, because the sun is directly overhead. So why does the sun not cast any shadows? Because there are no trees. How does the poet describe the moon in the third stanza and then towards the end of the poem? The poet describes the moon as full in the third stanza because of the trees were inside. And before, the moon was fully visible. That is why it is said the moon was full. But towards the end of the poem, the trees were back in nature. And now the moon was visible only through the branches of the tall oak trees. Hence, they appeared like fragmented pieces of a mirror. So, this is the explanation what I told in the previous question that we will discuss in further. So, because of the tall branches of the oak tree, the moon was not fully visible, and through the branches, it looked like they were broken fragments of a mirror. Long, cramped boughs shuffling under the roof indicates A, there is a lack of space for the branches. B, they are restless. C, they feel safe inside the house. Or D, they are moving about energetically. So long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof indicate that there is lack of space for the branches. Why are the leaves straining towards the glass? The leaves are straining towards the glass to escape from captivity. They want to be free. What is the significance of oak trees? So oak trees symbolize strength, endurance, power, justice, and wisdom. So that is why towards the end, it shows that the trees are finally back in nature. They have endured and now they are full of strength, power. Justice has prevailed and they have wisdom now. So this was a very beautiful poem. I hope now you are thorough with this poem. Thank you for watching this video and please share it among your friends. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe right now. Thank you and God bless.